Imagine looking at a map of the U.S. You see all these roads, bridges, power grids, basically everything that keeps the country running. A lot of it's aging, and there's so much new stuff we need to build. We're talking about $1 trillion federal investment. Huge. But the big question, the one we really need to grapple with, is how do we actually build all this? Especially when the construction industry itself is facing some really major headwinds. So that's what we're diving into today. Our mission is to explore how a really interesting spatial AI solution, it's EON Reality's Digital Jobsite Platform, is potentially set to, shake things up. We'll be digging into insights from our sources about this new approach, looking at how it aims to tackle what people are calling a perfect storm of problems, things like huge labor shortages, ongoing safety concerns, and rework that costs a fortune. So yeah, let's unpack this because there seems to be a serious crisis brewing in construction right when we need it performing at its absolute peak.
That's a great way to put it. And what's really insightful from the sources is how these challenges, they aren't happening in isolation, are they? They actually feed off each other. It's this unique mix of problems that really threatens the industry's ability to capitalize on this massive federal spending. It's definitely more than just a bottleneck. It feels more like a systemic issue hitting on several fronts at once.
Yeah, the sources lay it out pretty clearly, this multi-front battle. First off, and maybe the most pressing, is this severe labor shortage. Get this statistic. For every one skilled worker coming into the trades, 5 are retiring.
5 to 1.
5 to 1. That's not just a gap. It what creates this massive experience vacuum, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's happening just as demand is skyrocketing because of all these infrastructure projects.
Exactly. And that experience vacuum, it becomes even more concerning when you factor in the second challenge, the persistent safety crisis. Construction is unfortunately still one of the most dangerous jobs out there. We often hear about the fatal 4, that's falls, being struck by objects, electrocutions, and getting caught in or between things. These 4 types of incidents account for the vast majority of fatalities year after year. It really highlights where things can go tragically wrong on site.
It's really sobering when you put it like that. Okay, so then the third major issue, and this one hits the finances hard, is the billion-dollar rework problem. Just imagine, you build something critical, maybe pour concrete, and then find a major error. You might have to tear it down and rebuild.
Oh yeah, demolition and rebuilding.
Exactly. And our sources suggest this can eat up something like 10% of the total project cost.
Which is huge.
It's massive. And it's not just profits going down the drain. It delays critical infrastructure we all need.
And if you look at the bigger picture, you can see how they're all connected, right? Fewer experienced people on site, well, that can naturally lead to more safety risks.
Makes sense.
And maybe more errors, which then leads to more of that costly rework. Plus, we haven't even really touched on the bottleneck in equipment training yet.
Ah, right. Training new operators.
Yeah. Getting people skilled up on cranes, excavators, that kind of heavy machinery, it's incredibly expensive and inherently risky. You're talking thousands just in fuel, major wear and tear on the machines, and, the potential for accidents during training is high.
So that makes it hard to quickly grow the number of qualified operators you need.
Precisely. It puts a real brake on things, which leads to a really important question. Can the traditional ways of doing things, training, safety, quality checks, can they really handle problems of this scale and urgency? It makes you think about that quote from Dan Lidrskar at EON Reality. He basically says traditional training methods cannot address the scale and urgency, while federal investment creates a once-in-a-generation opportunity.
That quote really hits home, doesn't it? It paints a picture of needing a fundamentally different approach. Relying on the old playbook just won't cut it.
Yeah.
So, okay, faced with this pretty stark reality, what if there was a different path? A sort of paradigm shift? Our sources suggest that's precisely what EON Reality is aiming for with this digital job site platform. It's described as this comprehensive spatial AI solution, basically integrating extended reality XR and artificial intelligence AI, designed to tackle these big systemic problems head on.
Exactly. And the clever part seems to be how it uses 4 distinct but integrated solutions. Each one is designed to hit a specific pain point we've just been talking about.
Okay, let's get into those 4. First up, immersive safety simulators. So the idea here is using EON XR tech to create these super realistic simulations of dangerous situations you might find on a job site.
Right, like practicing what to do in a trench collapse or near live wires.
Exactly. Things like trench collapses, arc flashes, fall prevention. But you do it all in a 100% safe virtual space. The benefits seem pretty clear. Mastering hazard recognition, practicing emergency response. What our sources really emphasize, though, is that this isn't just learning facts like in a classroom. It's about building muscle memory, even managing your emotional response to danger in a way that lectures just can't.
So it fundamentally changes how workers perceive risk.
That's the idea, to make safety more intuitive and directly target preventing those fatal 4 incidents.
Okay, that makes sense for safety. Then the second one moves into quality, right? AR-assisted quality assurance. AR, augmented reality. So this uses EON merged XR to overlay the 3D digital blueprints, the BIM models.
BIM, right? Building information models, those
Right.
detailed digital plans.
Yeah, exactly. It overlays those plans directly onto the physical job site at full scale, one-to-one. So you get real-time error detection. You can literally hold up a tablet or wear glasses and see if the pipes, the conduits, the rebar, if it's all matching the digital plan before you pour the concrete.
Wow, okay, so catching mistakes instantly.
That's the goal, preventing rework. Catching errors when they're cheap to fix, not when they cost millions to demolish and rebuild. It's about quality verification as you go.
You can immediately see how that tackles the rework issue we talked about. Okay, third solution, virtual heavy equipment operations. Our sources describe these EON skill simulators for things like cranes, excavators, wheel loaders, and they're designed to mimic the real machine's behavior exactly.
So like a flight simulator, but for construction equipment.
Pretty much. The benefits are pretty compelling. Training operators with zero risk, letting them practice endlessly without burning fuel or wearing out the actual machines, mastering safety protocols before they even touch the real thing, and importantly, it allows for objective proof that an operator is competent. You can measure their skills.
Makes sense. Zero fuel, zero wear, zero risk. And the fourth one.
The fourth one is digital work instructions for complex installations. Think of AR-powered step-by-step holographic guides. They get overlaid right onto the worker's view of their workspace.
Ah, so for really tricky installations like complex electrical or plumbing systems.
Exactly, like MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. It gives precise guidance for each step. The idea is better quality assurance, making sure components go in the right sequence, and also boosting productivity, speeding up complex tasks without sacrificing quality.
Okay, so you've got immersive safety, AR for quality checks, virtual sims for equipment, and AR guides for complex tasks. It really does seem like each one maps directly back to those core problems: labor skills, safety, rework, and training bottlenecks.
It definitely seems targeted. But looking at those 4, do the sources suggest if one has a particularly maybe immediate impact, or maybe one is harder for companies to adopt initially?
That's a good question. Based on the materials, it seems the immersive safety simulators often show the quickest, most tangible return on investment. Safety is just such a critical, visible issue. Reducing incidents has that direct link to insurance costs, workers' comp premiums, not to mention the human impact. It's often easier to quantify those savings early on. And the visual, almost visceral nature of practicing hazard response in XR seems to resonate quickly and show fairly fast results in awareness.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've painted the picture of the before the traditional methods with all their costs and risks. Now let's really crystallize the after this platform promises. For safety training, you go from maybe a PowerPoint in a trailer to fully immersive practice, right?
Right. Safe repetition.
For equipment training, you jump from burning thousands in fuel and risking accidents on real machines.
To unlimited virtual practice, zero operational costs during that initial learning phase.
And quality control, moving away from trying to spot errors by comparing paper blueprints to the real world,
Which is prone to human error.
to using AR to see clashes or deviations in real time, stopping errors before they even happen. So let's talk bottom line. What do the numbers look like? Our sources suggest some pretty striking figures. They mention a conservative 40% reduction in rework.
40%.
Yeah. So think about a $100 million project. If rework normally eats up, say, 5%, that's $5 million lost. A 40% reduction saves $2 million just from prevented rework on that one project. The sources claim that can lead to like a 900% ROI on a $200,000 tech investment per project.
Wow, that's a significant return. And the financial side ties directly into safety, too, which is obviously paramount. One serious accident beyond the human tragedy can cost a company millions in claims, legal fees, project delays. The platform aims for something like a 20% reduction in incidents. If achieved, that directly impacts your EMR, your experience modification rate.
Ah, the EMR. That's the number insurance companies use to judge your safety record and set your premiums, right?
Exactly. Lowering your EMR because of fewer incidents can save hundreds of thousands a year just on workers' compensation insurance. So it protects people and the company's finances.
That's a powerful link. And then there's the equipment training cost savings. You mentioned fuel earlier. The sources estimate saving around 3,000 gallons of diesel per new operator trained virtually.
3,000 gallons per operator.
Yeah, based on roughly 200 hours of initial training at maybe 15 gallons an hour. So if you have a class of, I don't know, 20 new operators, that's 60,000 gallons of fuel saved right there.
Plus wear and tear, plus instructor time.
Exactly. It adds up fast. The claim is over $500,000 in savings per operator class just by using simulation. And then there's schedule acceleration. Fewer mistakes, less rework, people getting skilled faster. It all means projects finish quicker.
Avoiding those hefty penalties for late delivery liquidated damages, which can be tens of thousands per day. It's easy to focus just on the money saved, and the numbers are compelling, no doubt. But fundamentally, this seems to be about empowering the workforce, too, giving them better tools, making their jobs safer. And ultimately, it's about building the infrastructure we need faster and more reliably. It really changes the whole risk equation for these massive construction projects, making them more predictable.
Okay, so it sounds powerful. But how does a company actually start using something this comprehensive? Do they just flip a switch? The sources indicate EON Reality uses a more strategic, phased rollout. They target the high-risk, high-cost areas first to show value quickly.
Makes sense. Go for the quick wins first.
Yeah. Phase 1 seems to be job site safety and hazard recognition, that immediate ROI potential through lower insurance costs we talked about. Phase 2 then brings in the heavy equipment operator training, going after those big savings in fuel, maintenance, and instructor time.
Okay.
Phase 3 tackles the AR-powered quality control and rework prevention, directly preventing those budget overruns.
Right, catching errors early.
And then Phase 4 apparently focuses on leadership training for foremen and superintendents, aiming to improve project communication and coordination using these tools.
And what's really interesting from a strategic perspective is how this isn't just about selling software to one company. The sources talk a lot about ecosystem integration, building partnerships across the entire construction value chain.
Ah, so not just working in a silo.
Exactly. They mention general contractor and EPC firm partnerships, aiming to make this platform part of the standard toolkit for safety, quality, training.
Okay. And what about the equipment itself?
Alliances with the big, heavy equipment manufacturers like Caterpillar, John Deere, Komatsu to create official digital twins of their machines for the simulators. That adds a layer of authenticity.
That makes sense. And involving the workforce directly.
Absolutely. Collaboration with trade unions and apprenticeship programs is key, embedding this tech into how the next generation of skilled workers are trained nationally.
So building it into the system from the ground up.
And even partnerships with the infrastructure owners themselves, both public and private, getting these advanced training and quality standards written into project requirements.
So it's a broad strategy and underpinning all this.
Well, it's built on EON Reality's couple of decades working in XR. The sources mention things like ensuring alignment with OSHA safety standards, making sure it works across different headsets, MetaQuest, Vive Pro, HoloLens, Magic Leap 2.
So device flexibility.
Right. And seamless integration with those BIM models we discussed. Plus, importantly, designing the hardware interfaces to be rugged enough for actual construction site conditions. It can't be fragile lab equipment.
Good point. Needs to survive the real world.
There's that quote again from the white paper that kind of sums up the driver for all this. We cannot meet the demands of the 21st century with 20th century training methods.
That really does capture it perfectly, doesn't it? So we've journeyed through the, frankly, daunting challenges facing construction today. We've looked at this innovative spatial AI technology designed to meet those challenges head on, and we've seen the kind of tangible impact, safety, cost, skills that our sources suggest it's starting to have. It really makes you think about how quickly these foundational industries can be transformed when the right technology and strategy align.
It definitely does. And it leaves us with a pretty important question, I think, for anyone involved in building our future, whether in construction, policy, or technology. If tools like this that seem truly transformative are becoming available now, what's the real cost of not embracing these advancements, especially when so much depends on getting our infrastructure built safely, efficiently, and effectively? What's the cost of sticking with the status quo?